wanted to, well, I got to look up here again because I forgot the camera is up there now. I wanted to jump in here on this Sunday morning and say, hopefully that your Sunday is going well. Hopefully your morning is going well. And we are going to have another coffee talk. This is coffee talk session number 21, by the way. So we're going to be diving in here. Yesterday's coffee talk was actually really good. It actually went on longer than I expected, than I anticipated, but it was well worth it. A lot of great questions, a lot of connecting, and just really just had a great time hanging out with you guys. So definitely keep coming back to these coffee talks, and we can hang out in the mornings. 10 a.m. Eastern time is the official time that we're going live here. So mark your calendar, mark your maybe your notifications. And if you are not reporting to the office, or even if you are and you want to take a break, I'm going to try to keep these between 15 and 30 minutes, no longer. Trying. It's not actually easy to do that. Salama, good morning. Yeah, if you guys would do that, would you guys, if you guys are just jumping in, let me know that you're here. Drop something in the comment to let me know that you're here. Good morning, Karen. Karen in the house. These are my regulars, by the way. Salama, Karen. Awesome. So yeah, as you guys are coming in, just say a quick hello. Let me know you're there. Let me know the comments are there. Justin in the house, enjoying these coffee talks. Awesome. And you're in Australia too, Justin, right? Which is crazy. And same thing here on Instagram. If you guys could do that, that would be awesome. But okay, so today what I wanted to do is I want to build off of, hey, Michael, what's up, man? Good morning to you. I wanted to talk really about our number one asset. And you might guess what that is already, but we're going to elaborate on it. Letitia, what's up? Hassan, what's up? Daryl Hunt, morning, what's up? Audio works great, but video stuck. Your video stuck? Is it stuck for you guys? Could you guys let me know in the comments? Is everybody else seeing the video okay? It seems like my stream is doing well on my end. Just let me know on that. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, Justin, you're in Australia. Cool, man. Eddie, what's up? Hey, Scott, I took a break from your stream, but I'm back. Coffee in hand, baby. There it is right there. Bulletproof, baby. Bulletproof. Oh, Kathy said it's fine. And you're on YouTube, I see. And Eddie, you're on YouTube as well. Hey, let me ask you something, Kathy. You're on YouTube right now. And so are you, Eddie. Did you guys get a notification? I'm just curious. I'm just trying to see how people are notified that I'm going live. Let's see. All good on this end. Daryl on YouTube as well. Justin says video perfect. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I watched a little bit of, oh, you got a notification, Kathy? Okay. Daniel, what's up, Daniel? Works perfect. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. This is different than this over here. This here is a different setup. And then this is just my phone. Okay. I'm glad that it is working for most of you. Karen, it might just be a connection issue. I'm not quite sure. But I did listen to, part of the episode yesterday back. I wanted to see how the video was, and it's not really good. Everything was firing on all cylinders. So I was really, really happy with that. Some of you also wanted to know like my setup, like what's my lighting, my camera, how do I have everything hooked in? And we're going to actually do a video on that. Actually, I talked to my son yesterday, who's 22, by the way, who likes to do video editing, and he's pretty good at it. So I'm going to have him start shooting some of that stuff, and we'll edit it up. So this way here, you don't have to sit there through a long video, but I'm going to go through the whole breakdown. I'm going to break down exactly what I have here, what I had before, what is going through kind of going through all of the different things that's making it happen right now. Because some of you had expressed some interest in doing some lives. Daryl says, yes, YouTube 30 seconds prior to notification. 30 seconds or 30 minutes? Okay, Karen says, went out and came back. It works now. Awesome. Lydia, good morning to you. What's up? Okay, guys, and also do me a favor. Let me know how you feeling today. How are you feeling today? That's what I want to know, because I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. And before we get into this talk today, which we are going to be talking about your number one asset and how you can create a future-proof business. Okay. And you're going to also see how you can create a future-proof business over and over and over again. I'm going to talk about that. What's up? Morning to you. Okay. So, what we're going to talk about though is really like doubling down on that and really getting you to realize how much you have the ability to do whatever you want to do and do it over and over and over again. And there's going to be change that comes along with as you grow. Something I'm going through right now as we speak. I can't talk 100% about it right now because it's kind of a secret. I will be talking about it on here. I don't know why I'm whispering right now because I don't want all of the other people out there on the internet to hear me. But yeah, working on some pretty important things, a little bit of a change, actually a pretty major change, but in a good way, something I'm really excited about and something that I've been meaning and wanting to do for probably over a year, maybe even a little bit longer. But it's time. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to announce it, and I'm going to talk with you guys first about it. So if you guys want to follow along on this thing that I'm about ready to do, stay tuned. All right. And show up here, and I'll share with you my thoughts, my feelings, my struggles, why I'm struggling, how I'm pushing through, and some of those decisions that I'm having to make right now, which are all good. They're all good decisions, but it's still a decision that you have to make. And that happens in business regardless, or life for that matter. Hey, Lisa. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, like I said, let's see. Kathy says, amazing. Finally, sunshine and warm weather. That's awesome. It's a little dreary out there today, but the sun should pop out. Justin Robinson, feeling amazing, Scott. Boom. 2 double fives there. Feel great. Daryl says, awesome. I love that. And then, DD Zim, PPC, pretty pumped as usual when you're talking. Cool. Well, that's the idea. That's the idea is, I want to bring a little bit of this energy to you. And sometimes I need you guys to give me the energy. So that's the cool thing about these coffee talks. So let's kind of dig in. And Salama says, change equals growth. You are right. So let's dig in here. And I don't have a ton of notes here today. But guys, if you feel as though you want to, say something to me as I'm talking, just go ahead and throw it in the comments. Or if you have a question or anything, drop it in the comments. Let me know. The other thing is, we are going to be creating inside of YouTube. That is, we're going to create a whole playlist of all these coffee talks. So the coffee talks are going to be inside of a playlist. So if you're watching this on YouTube live, you won't see that now, but in maybe 24 hours, we will have a card that will come in that will actually allow you to go to the coffee talks. And then you can kind of see which ones resonate with you that you want to go and talk or to listen to. It was funny. I had someone the other day that said, Scott, this could turn into like a book, like all of these different things that you're sharing. So that's really cool to hear. And then also remind anybody that you think that would be, that would get value from hanging out with us in the mornings here on these coffee talks. I want more people like us. Okay. Only us. Right. And the reason why I say that is I did an episode. I did a coffee talk the other day talking about, really who you allow into your life, and really into your influence, into your brain. And it's important. It's kind of like that clear glass of water. And then we pour a little bit of dirt into that water and it becomes cloudy. I look at that as also like who we're inviting in to our coffee talks, who we're inviting into our world. So really, think about that. I did a full coffee talk on that. It was really well received as well. But you really want to be careful on who you let in, right? We talked about that. And hopefully you're here and you're surrounded with really awesome, positive, energetic people that are moving in the same direction that you want to go. So invite those people. All right. And if someone that needs help, they need a little kick in the butt, bring them on over. We'll kick them in the butt. Friendly way of kicking them in the butt. All right. So let's talk about this real quick. So when I was coming up with what I wanted to talk about today, I was really thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? A lot of times people, they want to create a future-proof business. And you guys know, I wrote a book, The Take Action Effect. Okay. And if you look at the tagline, It's proven steps to build a future-proof business and create your ultimate freedom, right? So we want to create a future-proof business so it will allow us most of the time to create the ultimate freedom, which the ultimate freedom for you might be different than me, right? I want to be able to, make my own schedule. I want to be able to block off time for, my daughter's volleyball and, all of that stuff, right? So I want the ability to do that. That's my freedom. A business that you set up properly allows you to do that. Now you can create a big business, which I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying to create this massive business that has 100 employees. Don't want that. Have no interest in that. But I am trying to create businesses that are somewhat independent of me. And so this way here, they can, I don't want to say passive income, because passive income is kind of thrown around there and there's nothing really passive. There's always going to take some level of work. There is some parts of the business that can be passive, but you can have minimal amount of work that goes into certain areas. Like the Airbnb that I talk about, that my wife and I invested in last year, like that is pretty hands-off. That is pretty passive. But if a decision needs to be made, I need to make it, right? So it's somewhat passive, but not 100%. But I think what we're all looking for is that freedom aspect, that, it's the money, yes, but the money, what does that provide? It provides us to have freedom, right? To do what we want to do when we want to do it. So with that all being said, let's talk about this. Okay. So first off, if you want to create a future-proof business, number one, you have to understand what it takes to build that, right? And you need to understand what it is you're trying to create, right? So to build a future-proof business, in my eyes, if we're talking about building a brand, okay, and that brand can be about you if you want it to be, right? And about your expertise, your journey, or it can be not with you, and you can just basically build a business that is, all on its own, and you can have contributors that are into that brand. And the reason why I say that is because, the Amazing Seller, when we started that, I had no idea where that was going to go. That turned into really Scott Voker, right? And that part, like without me, that really doesn't continue, and I'm okay with that. But I don't want all of my business stuff to always be dependent on me, right? So how do I create other future-proof businesses that I can start, but then also have them grow or maybe potentially sell? That's always the thinking. The way that you do it, okay, is by using your number one asset. And that number one asset is you and you, okay? And so what I mean by this is, when I was in the construction business years ago, okay, I was learning a skill set. When I started that job with my father, fresh out of high school, like I was a little bit, I was 19. So I was about a year and a half out. I did another job before that, actually 2 jobs. And then finally had the opportunity to work for him. But I was green as they come. Like I barely knew how to read a tape measure, didn't know how to run a saw, didn't know how to do any of that stuff, but it was an opportunity for me to learn. And as I learned that trade, I began to develop a skill and many skills. I went on to run a whole company, okay, with about 16 employees under me, managing those guys and girls. We actually had some women there too, to basically do the job that I didn't know how to do in the beginning, but I learned the skill set, and then I was able to teach it and to train it, right, to other people. And so that skill set I have to this day. So if I wanted to, I could go out and build a deck on the back of my house. I could build a screened-in porch. I could build an addition. I can remodel a kitchen. I can lay down a new floor. I can do all that stuff. I can put a new roof on the house. I don't want to do any of that, but I could. And that's a skill set. That's an asset that you can never get rid of. Okay. So now let's take this to like the next thing. Well, okay, you're green right now. You don't know how to build a website. Well, the first thing you need to do after you pick your market and your niche is you got to build a website. And I would say at least learn how it is built. Even if you don't want to build it yourself, learn how it is built. That is a skill set you'll always have. Okay. Now, once you learn that, now you're like, okay, I got to figure out how to do this content creation thing. You learn that. And then when you learn it, you build that skill, right? Then from there, how do I publish? You learn that skill. Boom. How do I do email marketing? You learn it. Skill, right? All of these things are skills that you will have forever. So the number one asset, the number one way that you create a future-proof business is to ultimately create a future-proof you. Okay? If you really just think about that, and I want you to do this for me in the comments, okay? I want you to drop in there, okay? What is something that you have a skill in right now because you learned something? Drop it in there. I want to know, what is your skill right now? What is something that I could have you do for me? Okay? And it could be like, well, Scott, I know how to crochet, so I could probably, make you a scarf for your wife or whatever, right? Like maybe that's it. Okay. What is a skill that you've learned, okay, that now you have, and it's like riding a bike. You'll always have that. Okay. I want you to put that in there because even though that doesn't relate to you becoming like a future-proof business person, it shows that you've learned a skill that you have right now. And if you have that skill, it's not going anywhere, right? If I haven't rode a bike in probably 2 years, 3 years. But if you put a bike out there, I'm going to jump on it. I can ride it. And I could probably even still do a wheelie. Used to do a wheelie when I was a kid, right? Might take a couple times, but I'll get it back, right? I could ride on that. I can turn around and sit on my handlebars and pedal and ride the bike backwards. I bet I could still do that. Okay. There's things that I did and as a skill. I know it's a kind of a funny example, but I've done that. Okay. So that is a skill. So understand that even though you might be so far in your mind of where you think that you could be, and I'm not that good at this, and I'm not good at that. It's all these self-doubts, by the way. You can become that, right? You just have to take it one step at a time and learn one thing at a time. But so many people don't look at the journey as a learning process, that now they've built a skill. And that skill is you being future-proof in your business, because we're kind of pointing this at business. We're using this as a lesson about business, but that goes with like, okay, if you want to play the guitar, you learn how to play guitar. I can pretty much play my guitar. I might not be as good as I was a year ago because I'm rusty, but I'll get it back, right? I know how to get it back, right? Same thing with if you're doing email marketing right now, and you built a list maybe 3 years ago, but you haven't built one in 3 years. It might take a little bit to go back through the motions, but you've done it. You know how it works. You understand the process and the concept, right? So for me, like putting on a roof, the materials have probably changed, right? And I would just have to do a little bit of research and go, okay, what are they using for underlayment now? Like what's the typical thing that the industry is using? Because the industry's evolved since I've been there, right? It's the same thing with like online business. Websites are so much easier to build now than they were, 15 years ago. I remember building a Flash website. And if you don't know what Flash is, it was the first animation that was done on a website. So if you go to a website, it would basically have movement, right? You might have pictures that come in, or maybe you would have, if you roll over a button, it would do something animated. That was Flash, okay? I learned Flash, and it was hard. And I remember spending hours and days trying to get our website, our photography website, to do some of these cool things. Nowadays, you just go there, you get a plugin, you drop it in, and it does it for you. We were spending all this time. I bought a program to help me learn it, but I was so determined to do it. Now, could I go back and do Flash? Probably not. I'd have to go and get up to speed. I don't even think it's a thing anymore. But I at least know how the inner workings of a website is. I know about HTML files. I don't know how to code them 100%, but I know what they are. I know how to upload to an FTP server. I've done that before. I know how to connect, maybe an email responder, autoresponder to my website. I've done that before. So you see what I'm saying? These are things that we have done that we can do again. And once you build out this arsenal of skills, you become future-proof. I believe that. Like, again, right now we talk about wiping everything away. Let's wipe everything away. Like, I could go help my local business. And I'm not even that good at Facebook ads, by the way. Like, I'm okay, but I'm not great. I guarantee I can go and with a little bit that I know, and I do a little bit more research, and I would get, maybe I would reach out to a couple of my friends that are better at it than me, and I'd ask, and I would maybe I would do something for them to get them leads in their door, and I would just charge them a service. Like, that's a skill that I have. I'm not doing that, but I could, right? So these are skill sets that you're building. And if you apply them to your business, well, it's going to work in this business, but then guess what? Maybe in 5 years, you want to start something else, another niche that you want to go into. Boom, you can plug it in once you build the skill set. And then once you build the skill set, you can have other people do the skill stuff for you don't want to do anymore. Okay? So just always remember, you personally are the number one asset to yourself because you're building the skill set that will always be with you. Okay? You can't just you can teach it, but you can't just take a chip out of your body and then plug it into someone else and go, they're programmed. They know everything I know. They don't. You have your own skill set and it's up to you to keep growing. Okay. I don't know everything, right? This whole Facebook Live setup and stuff, it took me a little trial and error to figure stuff out. I had some hiccups in the road. I finally got it. I learned what to do now for my setup. Doesn't mean it's going to be the one for you, but I learned it. I troubleshoot very well because I used to do that in construction. I used to do it in the cable company that I used to work for years ago, right? Or if something's not working, I'm pretty good at like reverse engineering it back, right? But that's just stuff because I've done it and I've kind of just logically are thinking through it. I'm not that smart. I'm pretty good at figuring things out because I'm determined and I'm somewhat stubborn because I want to figure it out. And I think if you get to that point, you build that skill set. So I'm curious to see what you guys have put down here. As far as your skill, what is the skill that you've created? Let's see. Eddie says, my skills, graphic design, web development, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and 3D design animation. These skills have been so useful for selling on Amazon. Yeah. You see that? So like all of that stuff that you're talking about, and some people are like, what's CSS and what's JavaScript, right? It's just code for web development pretty much, and 3D design and animation. Like that's all huge, but that means that you can create probably your own 3D model images that look really good, right? But you also have that skill set that you could do that for other people, right? So there's so much that goes into that. So thanks for sharing that, Eddie. I appreciate that. Salama, coaching and copywriting. So, okay, so you've done pretty good at coaching. What specifically have you coached? In copywriting, that's a great skill to have. I think if anybody wants to continue to learn, it's like learning about copywriting, learning about how to almost read your customer's mind before you even ask them anything. Like you plant the seed in their head. They're like, wow, they're thinking exactly what I'm thinking. I must be in the right place. That's copywriting, and that's doing it really well. Chris, Photoshop and Adobe Premiere Pro are two skills I am strong in. Web design as well. And those are big, by the way. So yeah, I mean, Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, and that's a video. And then web design. I mean, those are some pretty strong assets right there. So yeah, I get it. It means I've been able to develop websites for my products, design all the packaging, all the branding and Amazon photos. Yeah, exactly. You're able to take that. Kathy, cooking, party, event planning, sales. Great. So cooking, right? Like, okay, so you can cook really well for your family, but you probably cook for other people, right? And I'm not saying you're going to do a catering business, but you could, right? Party and event planning. Obviously, with the times that we're in right now, that's not really something that we're going to be able to do, but you could virtual parties, virtual events, right? Like stuff like that. That's going to be something that people are going to be looking into. Not a penny spent on a designer, Eddie says. Yeah, because you have that skill set, right? Now, there is a time, though, that even though you know how to do a certain job doesn't mean that you should. That could be also holding you back. So we don't always want to do that either. I know that's one of my issues. A lot of times I'll just get it done myself. I can just jump in and get it done. You don't always want to do that. Okay. You want to look at what you enjoy doing. And then from there, do all that. The stuff that you can do, but you shouldn't be doing, probably offload that because that could be stunting the growth as well. And it's also good to be able to not be dependent only on your skills, but it's great that you have that. Lydia, the best skill is being good at learning to learn. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Being willing to learn is huge. So many people that say, oh, I already know how to do that. I don't need to learn anything on that. Like, so, like holding themselves back, like restricting their growth big time. Hassan, t-shirt design. Cool, man. We got to talk. I've got some ideas. I want some shirts like even this was from ConvertKit. Create every day. Love it. I'm thinking about coming up with some of my own shirts, and I've got one in mind that could be part of this thing that I've been talking about. That's a secret that we'll be talking about. But that'll be I'll probably be needing a shirt for that. So yeah, we'll definitely talk, man. Let's see here. Patty says a Zoom producer. So do you mean like you're doing Zoom meetings and you're a producer of those? That's interesting. That's a great skill set, by the way, but it's also something that's going to be needed moving forward. It was funny. I was just I'm in a private group with some people from a mastermind, and they were talking about doing a virtual not a virtual summit, but more or less like a virtual event. And they wanted someone that could basically run all of the different, the different guests and different groups and segmenting and conversations and all of that stuff. So there's definitely going to be a need moving forward for that skill to be taught too, by the way. Financial freedom and mindset coaching. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Let's see. Justin, graphic design, email marketing, pay-per-click, website building. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's like a lot of skill sets there. Like graphic design, like if you have that, that's a huge advantage. Email marketing, that's big. And pay-per-click, whether that's on Amazon or if it's even just in paid ads, and then website building, like those are all great skill sets. Lydia, Photoshop, web design, product development, print design, packaging, etc., management. You see, doesn't it feel good to even be able to say like you have skill in those areas? Like there's so much that you have. So why can't you add something to that? And as you add it, you build out the portfolio of the things that you're good at or that you can do or that you know how to do. And then you repeat that. And that's how you become future-proof. That's how you become future-proof, because then you can create future-proof businesses, whether big, small, doesn't really matter. You have the skill set to be able to do that. And Hassan says, I create every day. Smiley face. Awesome. And then Patty says, yes, and webinars. Oh, that's awesome. That's really, really cool that you're doing that right now. So that's really cool. Yeah, in webinars, what platform are you using for webinars? Is it Zoom? I'm just curious. I've played around with some different ones. I'm not doing a lot of webinars right now, but I've used Webinar Jam, Easy Webinar, and then Google Hangouts was using that for a little while, and then Zoom I've done a little bit. But Zoom is definitely, they actually just made a big update, I noticed, and they got a lot of cool new features on it. So that's cool. Yeah, Zoom, awesome. All right, guys. So if you guys have any quick questions, I'd be more than happy to jump in here. We are approaching the 30-minute mark, so I want to try to keep these tight and try to not go over if we can help it, but I will answer any questions. If you guys have any questions there real quick, let me know. But just to remind you guys, we'll be showing back up here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time. That'll be, what is that, 22, session 22 of the Coffee Talks. And then we will we'll address another topic, which I'm excited about. If you have anything that you want me to, I have a whole bunch of ideas, but if you have any other things that you want to focus on for a coffee talk, drop it in the comments, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. We'll go back and look at these. And then it's also a reminder, I mentioned this earlier, but if you're just joining me inside of YouTube, what we're going to do is when this ends as a live, it becomes part of the archives in YouTube, in our channel. We're actually going to be taking these and putting them in a playlist for Coffee Talks. So this way here, you can go back and look at the archives. And if there's something that you didn't see that you want to go back and you kind of want to sit through a coffee talk, then they'll be there for you to do that. And I'm always open to listening to what you want to listen to or to talk about and to really dig into. As long as you're showing up, I'll show up. I want to be here to serve you and to help you in any way that I can, and also share with you the struggles along the way that I deal with on a regular basis. Like, I'm not sitting here saying like everything is easy. It's not. As you grow, new things happen, new opportunities come. New decisions need to be made, and there's one of those that's happening right now as we speak, and it's consuming a lot of bandwidth up here. But I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it, but it's the right thing to do right now. And yeah, I'm excited about sharing it with you guys. So stay tuned for that. So 10 a.m. Eastern, tomorrow I'll be here, but also if you're watching this later, 10 a.m. Eastern If you go to right now, if you just go to the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, you can you'll see that that's where we're basically setting up a schedule. So this way here, you can get reminders if you want to be reminded about these coffee talks. So let me just look down here, see if we have any questions. Kai says, hi, Scott, you have so much skill in house construction. Did you set up a home improvement niche? I did not. But it's funny because I could. And, I was thinking about that not that long ago. I'm like, if I was still in the construction world, I would totally do that. I would be shooting content like daily because I'd be on a job site. I would take like whatever I'm working on and I would just record little bits of it. And then I would just go back and edit it and then post it. Like how to put a bay window in your, in your house, how to remodel a bathroom, mid-century modern look, something like that, right? Like I would do that 100%. Because I'm not in the space, it's kind of hard to do that content. Now, it's not impossible, but what I would do if I was going to go down that route, I would find a contractor that I could follow around a little bit and do before and then after, and then also like what happens in between. But it's funny that you said that. What keeps you happy? Simplicity. And surrounding myself with really good, people in my life. And right now we're quarantined. So basically my online people, you guys, hanging out with people like you, my family. It's just keeping me grounded and keeping me excited about what I'm working on and just growing. I think that's what keeps me happy and being very optimistic, right? Like we're going through a tough time right now. I'm not sitting here thinking that it's, the sky's going to fall and there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. I'm not thinking about like all the negative. I'm trying to think about what's positive, what's going to happen from this that we can learn from and that we can build on in our lives. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Daryl, no problem, brother. Appreciate you, man. Lydia, would love coffee talks on hiring, training, managing VAs. It's a good one, huh? Yeah, we can definitely address that for sure. I'm still kind of learning that myself. We're hiring writers right now for our blog content that we're creating, our brands inside of Brand Creators Academy. And it's definitely a learning curve, but we're getting it down pretty good. So I could definitely speak to that. How have you chosen your niches so far? Again, I'm not going to go into all of that stuff right now. We could do a whole nother coffee talk on choosing the right niche and all of that stuff, what niches to avoid. I think someone else mentioned we should probably talk about that. And I see some questions coming in here. I'll answer them here in a minute. But yeah, so let's talk about that another time. Biggest thing too is I'll put a little shameless plug out here. If you go to brandcreators.com, that's the brand growth validation checklist. That's how. That right there allows you to see my process on number one, finding a niche, but then from there, validating a niche. So definitely check that out. And let's see here. Michael, coffee talk idea. How you manage all the different businesses, specifically each LLC you have up and running. It's a good one too, huh? Yeah, we can talk about that. It's actually simpler than you think. Because I think sometimes people get they overcomplicate that because they get hung up on like everything has to be set up before I start. And I don't operate that way. There are different business styles that need to be set up that way, but we can definitely talk about that. Karen, I have a VA in the Philippines. What's the best way to pay her? Best way generally is through whatever service you're hiring them from. But I've done PayPal, but I've also just went through so if you go through FreeUp, they're going to have their own payment gateway and system there. If you use iWriter, you'd have them set up through there. So let's see, more info on your content tree process. Oh, Chris. Yeah. Okay, cool. I love talking about that for sure. Totally do that. And what advice would you give your younger self? That's another good topic. I like that topic. We should definitely dig into that one. I like that. Salma, I'm not going to answer that here today because we're actually past the 30-minute mark and I'm already going past it. But I want to answer all your questions, but I can't sit here for an hour every day because you guys won't get anything done. And I won't get anything done, but I really love hanging out with you guys. But let's address that in another coffee talk. I love that. What advice would you give your younger self? I love that. That's actually a question you guys should all ask yourself. What would you give your younger self advice about? So cool. We'll definitely do that. Cool. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, definitely make sure that you subscribe to the channel. So this way here, you get notified when I go live. Leave a comment. Let me know that you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you're digging these or not. I want to be able to hang out with you more. And then Facebook, same thing. Like, make sure that you are following the page, that you get notifications of when I go live. This way here, you can show up and we can hang out some more. All right. And then one last question here from Justin. Would you build one large brand or more smaller sites? Again, we'll save that for another time. But just very quickly, I would probably, I'm going to pull a Chris Schaefer here. It depends. And I'll have to speak to that another time. Right now, though, I wouldn't overcomplicate things. I would just get started. But I would try to see where you want to go. But that's actually funny that you bring that up, because that is something that I'm dealing with a little bit right now, that I'm going to be dealing with. I'm going to be actually figuring that out and actually moving forward with. Yeah, Hassan, we'll see you tomorrow, brother. And okay, guys, that is going to wrap up this coffee talk. This has been awesome. Happy Sunday, or if you're watching this on a replay, happy whatever day. And make sure that you tune in for our next coffee talk, which will be 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. And if you have any other questions in the meantime, drop them in the comments or bring them with you to our coffee talk. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, take care, take action, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.